Good morning, team. It's Friday. I've just been for a run. I'm not sure how well I did. I couldn't find my Garmin this morning, and I was actually going to go off to a HIIT class today, but I managed to hit the snooze button and overslept by about 15 minutes. But I'm really glad I did. It's a beautiful day here on the Gold Coast. It's about 14 degrees. There's a light breeze, and the sky's just slightly, a little bit of cloud around, but generally very nice. So I managed to go out and just some skins and a t-shirt. And while I was running, I was thinking back over the many years of pre-seasons for different sporting teams, and thinking about how I managed to bluff my way through pre-season with those, so that the coach thought I was actually a bit fitter than I was. And it really came down to breathing. As we all know, breathing is quite an important thing that we do every day. And it's particularly important in athletic performance. And also what we're now learning is it's very important for relieving pain and helping out with things like low back pain. So I was reflecting on this while I was running and thinking back to my early childhood. And I had a musician as a father. And as a musician, he would be, at the time, considered a little bit alternative. I was raised vegetarian. And also, we used to do regular practice of meditation. Now, not that it happened much, but, there's certain things that you don't tell your mates at school, like if you wet the bed or keep forgetting to flush the toilet. But meditation was also one of those things that at the time your mates would probably laugh at. And so I didn't really tell my mates about it, and the ones who did know about it thought it was all a bit strange. But in hindsight, it was actually very fortunate to learn, because what I learned with meditation, of course, is breathing control. As more and more research comes out, we're finding more and more about how, interestingly enough, breathing is very important for us. But it's not just breathing in and of itself, it's how to breathe properly and maximize the surface area of your lungs and really get the breath right down to the bottom of your lungs. So with that particular breathing technique, they've also shown that it helps to facilitate your core stabilizers. And so being in the graduate year, where a lot of the research was coming out of University of Queensland about transverse abdominis, multifidus and pelvic floor and their relationship with back pain, we were very focused on isolating these muscles. Now, to me, it didn't make a lot of sense because in reality, we don't walk around just switching on our pelvic floor. It works in conjunction with a whole lot of other muscles. And we've later found out that it's actually very important to integrate these into functional activities. And what we also know is that improving your breathing control can help facilitate these muscles. So I guess we've had decades of physios and fitness industry people telling us to lock your core and draw your belly button in. And in reality, by bracing too much, and one of the dilemmas we had with trying to get patients to isolate these muscles is that they'd almost inevitably hold their breath. But the problem with that is that's recruiting different strategies to what's normal, and it's also preventing that flow of oxygen, which is very important. So as I was running this morning, I was thinking about the way I bluffed through about 16 pre-seasons with this ability to breathe well, and I put that down to my father's teaching of meditation from when I was a young lad. Now, the idea of improving our breathing is really getting the air down to the bottom of the lungs, expanding your lower ribs, and allowing your top part of your tummy to gently rise and fall. The best time to practice this is actually sitting in a supported position, and that way you can relax your arms and your shoulders and really focus on that breath down the bottom. So as I'd run around in pre-season, I'd see loads of blokes doing that type of what's called apical breathing, so lifting the shoulders and really breathing in the upper chest. The problem with that is not only that you're only using the top part of your lungs, but the energy that you're using to lift your shoulders up and down is burning off the oxygen you so desperately need. So if you control your breathing, and I find breathing in over a certain number of steps and breathing out over a certain number of steps helps to control that flow. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth means that you're humidifying the air as it goes in, and so you're less likely to trigger, bronchospasm or irritation of the airways. And there is certainly a bit of practice and technique involved there. I can explain at a later time, but my breathing pattern, I look at breathing in over, say, 4 and out over 3. And this is so I alternate the foot that I'm landing on at the bottom of the out breath each time, which creates a better symmetry in my running technique. So that's my top tip for Friday. Like I said, practice this breathing technique, just gentle breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, whilst you're in a sitting supported position. So you're really focusing on the bottom of your lungs there, and then try and incorporate that into some of your daily function like walking, and then eventually progressing over into running. And you should be able to cheat your way through pre-seasons and bluff your mates whilst they're struggling to get the air in and you're just cruising along. Happy Friday, folks. I look forward to seeing you next week.